Model Making Guru is sponsored by emodels.co.uk, your one-stop shop for all your model making needs. emodels.co.uk. Make something awesome. Oh look, the neighbour's dog's barking again. Sigh. Hey everyone, it's Foxx from Model Making Guru here. Hello, hello, welcome to the second little video update for non-patrons on the build of the Jakks Pacific 31-inch Master Chief Spartan Butt. As you can see, we've come quite a long way. The second episode is just gone up now for Patreon patrons. I really wish they'd call the patrons something else, because Patreon patrons doesn't really, you can't say it very easily. So the full episode has gone up for patrons, but as promised, I'm going to give non-patrons a quick look in and see where we're up to. At the end of the second episode, we have kind of pretty much finished most of the base colour painting. It's kind of done. There's little bits I'll need to do later on, but for the moment, everything's now painted. We've learned some things since you last saw this. Where was I up to last time? We primed it using Citadel Black Chaos Black Primer. Chaos Black Primer. Yes, kind of had a bit of a disaster. Since I primed it, I then found out this thing is made of polypropylene, which for a model maker looking to paint a model is the worst plastic in the world, because polypropylene is hard and yet flexible, and pretty much nothing sticks to it. In terms of anything we would use in our model making endeavours. Notably, you know, for example, off the top of my head, Citadel Chaos Black Spray Primer. When I got everything primed, I had some bits taped together, did some of the little bits, took the tape off, primer's coming off. When you're painting anything like this that's made of polypropylene, you need to use a special primer, a primer that will etch into the plastic. Because polypropylene requires that to get a good grip. You can use any paint you want, but the primer is important. I use the normal primer. Luckily, it's not a lost cause. The paint is staying on. It just means I can't do any masking. I can't do any masking at all. If you are making something like this, it's a polypropylene figure, or if you happen to be painting a car bumper, which is made of the same stuff, make sure to go to the auto store and get yourself some primer that works on polypropylene. You can get them from like auto car places and Halfords and places like that, anywhere that does spray cans of car paint. You want a primer that works for polypropylene. Or somebody did post in the Boom Hut, and I forget where it was now or who it was, a Duplicolour product which is clear but is like an etch primer, but it's clear. It just gives something that grabs onto the surface, and then you can put paint on top of that. So yeah, let that be a lesson basically. So it's not the end of the world. Like I said, the paint is sticking to the primer. It's surviving handling quite well, but it is a little bit prone to chipping. There's a few chips here and there where I've like knocked it on the surface and stuff, so I'm just having to be extra careful. However, it means I can't prime. So where have we got up to? Given the fact I can't do any priming, the undersuit was sprayed with grey, which is a mixture of a few different Tamiya greys, thinned down quite a lot, over the black primer just to give a highlight coat. The armour has been sprayed a green, which is a mixture of various Tamiya greens all mixed together. I can't give you the exact colours because I've got no idea. I just kind of took whatever pots I had and slammed them all together. That was all airbrushed. I had to get creative because I couldn't mask off these armour parts that are on top of the grey parts. I had to freehand these with the airbrush. How scary is that? I had to freehand spray them. So what I did was sprayed all the grey bits, then sprayed all the green parts, and then had to go back and just catch any bits where I'd oversprayed the green onto the grey, and that wasn't too bad. So it's not 100% perfect. There's like little fadey bits here, but I can live with it because we're going to do gunk washes and stuff later on. That's all been done. I've just spent the last 3 days, because I can't do any masking, doing all the brush painting, which is basically all these dark parts on the armour. They've had to be painted, hand painted. We've got those, we've got these parts on the head, There's a couple of bits on the front and on the side. On the assault rifle, we've got the green parts here, all the green parts for the hands, the grey part, the stripe, the chipping, everything, all had to be hand painted. And now in the latest episode, I do show basically how I get such a nice smooth finish with Citadel paints. This is, oh god, I've got to remember the colours now. This is Citadel, what's it called? Death World Forest, with a tiny bit of Abaddon Black added. This is Mechanicus Grey, and this is Administratum Grey, and that's Lead Belcher. So I do show in the video, first of all, how to get nice smooth colours on big areas. That's one of the things I show. And I also show how I did the fine detail painting on these darker panels. This is, which one's this one now? This is one is not Deathworld Forest. Castellan Green is the colour, and then a little bit of Athonian camo shade to darken it up. But what I show is, first of all, how to paint big areas without getting brush marks, and then how to paint fine edges, how to hold your brush and use your brush properly to get straight edges as best as possible, because I'm not masking it. I have to go off brush job. So yeah, so that was fun. So we show that, and also I show how I've done the chipping on here. This is all freehand painted, so I show how I painted this and how I did all these chips. Chips didn't come out quite as I planned, not quite as subtle, because this isn't chipping fluid and then spray paint over the top. It's chipping fluid and then just brush painted on the top, so the chips are a little more lumpy and bumpy. So yeah, so that's all been done. I have also made, for the assault rifle, see here, I've not done anything here. I've made myself a little piece of plastic card which will go in there. Now, I've made sure I've made a couple of these just in case I screw it up, but that's going to go in there, and on here we're going to somehow figure out how to do a counter. Can't get that out now. How to do an ammunition counter. I may just have to use some decals, and the font won't be right, but it'll be close enough. So that is where we're up to basically at the moment. Everything's been painted. I'm really pleased with how my freehand airbrushing came out. I say it's not perfect, there is a little bits of overspray here and there, but once it's had a gunk wash and all the weathering's been done, you're not really going to notice that. The gunk wash is going to collect in all the recesses, so it's going to be fine. I did debate whether trying to figure out how to do the texture on the undersuit. It's got like a kind of carbon fibre texture. I couldn't figure it out in the end. I couldn't come up with a way of doing it that wouldn't just be ass. So I didn't. And with the helmet, now we're going to have problems with the helmet later on, because my plan was to get the whole helmet painted and then mask off the visor and sort the visor out. We've got the problem with the masking. I can't put masking tape on this without potentially pulling the paint off and the primer off. So what I'm going to have to do is not paint the rubber trim that goes around the visor, and then when it comes time to do the visor, I'm basically just going to have to really carefully mask it off somehow, paint it, take it off, and then paint the rubber strip that goes around the edge of the visor. I'm going to have to figure it out somehow. I can't not mask it, because I can't brush paint this, otherwise it'll look like complete pap. So yeah, so challenges. So that's where we're up to, really. Just a quick update for you. All the main base colours have now been done. The next thing I need to do when we'll start in the next full Patreon episode is to go ahead and get this gloss coated, which is a challenge in of itself, because, you know, how do I gloss coat this? I can't just lay it flat. I've got to put it on something when it's gloss coated, so I've got to figure it out. I can't gloss coat the whole thing and put it on the desk. It's just going to stick to the desk. And if I do half, then I've got to wait 24 hours and do the other half. No, I'm not doing that. So I may have a solution. So anyway, that's where we're up to. So, like I say, just a very quick update. I'll do another one of these when we've done a lot more work, when the next episode is out for patrons. If you would like to watch the whole episode, of course, you're more than welcome to support me on Patreon. The address is here. It's patreon.com/modelmakingguru. You're more than welcome to. You don't have to. I will do these little updates for non-patrons. But if you'd like to see the full episode showing all the different techniques, like I said, the brush painting technique to get the smooth finish and how to get around all the sharp edges, quite useful if you're interested in that. So do have a think about that. It's completely optional. You don't have to, but I will love you even more if you do. But like I always say, you're all my favourite children, whether you're on Patreon or not. I love you all the same. But yes, quick update for you. So anyway, I'm just waffling really quite a lot now, so I shall go away. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Go do something awesome. Go be awesome. And I'll see you next time when we'll have done a bit more. Probably will have started on the weathering as well, I think. So stay tuned. Adios, amoebas.